How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today we are looking at Workhorse and talking about what's happening with the stock, why does it keep on falling down, and talking about my price prediction based on a couple different outcomes that could occur, and looking at, kind of the top side and the bottom side before we hear the USPS contract. So if you guys like this kind of thing, please leave a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Also, we got the merch in. This is just about the comfiest sweatshirt that I've ever worn. It came out really well too. I think it looks really good too. It is very comfy though, and definitely check out the link down below if you want some of this. This is the sweatshirt. So I appreciate it. Also, if you want 2 free stocks through WeBull, they can give you 2 free stocks if you deposit $100. And I did a video about how I'm moving from Robinhood to WeBull. So if you guys want to check that out, you can definitely check that out from yesterday. But I think it's something that's definitely worth considering, and they are giving you that bonus even if you transfer in. Just use the link down below. So I appreciate it, and let's get into it. So Workhorse was down about 2.7% yesterday, and I realize that it might change a little bit today from when you see it, because I am looking at this after market hours on Thursday, so definitely it could change. But I've seen a lot of people just wondering why it keeps on dropping. Why does it keep on dropping? Because, we didn't get the USPS decision, but it just continues to drop after that. So let's take a look. We were at about $30 a share, and we just dropped and dropped and dropped, and it's just been consistently going down up until really after market hours today. So we're down about 24%, not great, but I am still holding strong. I've talked about it. I'm not selling it until we hear from the USPS and try to actually determine whether we got part of this contract. Now, again, if it goes up over about $40 a share, I will consider selling it again and selling and taking some of the profit, just because I feel like that will be very high. But I'll get kind of into that later, what I think we could see before the USPS decision. But if we keep on falling down, I don't plan on selling unless we definitely hear about the USPS decision and that we didn't get it. So that is where I'm kind of seeing on the downside that I'm not going to sell unless we just continue to fall off after we hear about the USPS. So why is it falling down now? There are 2 main reasons. First of all, the USPS delayed their decision for the contract. So a lot of people thought that they were going to announce this by fiscal year end, so end of September. A lot of people thought mid-October. Roth Capital came out with that report saying that it would be by October 13. And then they came out a few days later and said, no, it's going to be end of the year. And they lowered their price targets. It's been a whole mess with that. But what we found was a lot of people are just selling out right now because of that. And that's reason number 1. You can see since October 13, early in the morning, we can see it's just fallen off pretty drastically here. The other reason is the short interest. There are more and more shorts every day, it seems like, in the stock. If we look here, these don't actually tell you when prior was, but the short interest, or the people that are betting against the stock, so essentially borrowing shares from a broker, taking those shares and then selling them, is going up. So between this period, and I think this is around 1 to 2 weeks, I think they update it about every 2 weeks. So they have increased in this period about 600,000 shares. Now this is about 12 to 15 million dollars that is shorted. And if you look, this is a very high number of shares just overall. I mean, when you consider how much of this company is shorted, it's crazy when you think about it, because this is just about a $2.34 billion company. And there is just a massive short position of about 23 million shares. So that is something to consider. More and more people are buying the stock just to sell it and short it. But what this actually does is, if there is a short squeeze, so if the stock goes up, let's say on USPS, the USPS announcement, there are going to be a lot of people buying back in. They have to cover their shorts, so they're going to have to buy back in, and we're going to see the stock price just shoot up because of how many shorts there are. So this is, again, what we've said in the past, a very high risk, high reward play, because, well, in the short term, it's bad that there's so many shorts. It kind of pushes the stock price down. It's good if we get good news, because we get good news, some people start to buy back in, the stock price goes up, shorts have to cover, buy back in, it causes the stock price to go up even further, and every second that price goes up, it makes it harder and harder for those shorts to get back in at a lower price, so they have to keep on paying more and more to get back in and cover, and that can cause the stock price to shoot up very quickly. Now, this is something that I think is one of those high risk, high reward plays, like I said, where it causes the stock to go down short term, but great long term if we get that decision. Now, why is this happening? Because there are a lot of people that are in this for the long term, but there are a lot of people that are in this for the short term. It has a lot of Robinhood investors in it. And if you have heard anything about the Robinhood effect, a lot of these Robinhood investors are younger investors. It is a younger platform, and they are much more likely to buy and sell stocks and not hold long term. Now, I can understand that. I can understand why people would be thinking that's a good idea because we haven't heard about the USPS decision and it's been pushed back, and people are thinking, okay, well, if I can save money and just sell out before it dips, then I'm going to do it. But if the USPS announces, it's going to be very hard to get back in. So I understand that if you're long-term okay with sitting out, but short-term, you might not actually be able to get back into the stock before it jumps drastically. For example, we've seen it a couple times jump up pretty drastically to $30 a share, and we haven't really gotten any news on the USPS. So there has been some stuff that have come out, and I'll talk about it here for a second, just some of the stuff that's come out recently. ARK buys Workhorse. It comes out that Roth Capital says that the USPS decision is coming up. They give a $33 price target. They were upgraded to a buy by Bank of America. Workhorse received another executive order to help them with HVIP eligibility to help, sell these vehicles and get vouchers for their customers. So it makes it a lot more cost efficient for them to sell to different companies. So the companies don't have to pay as much because they'll get those vouchers. So there have been a lot of good things that have come out about Workhorse and really nothing bad over the last couple of weeks. The only thing that's causing the stock price to go down is that the USPS hasn't announced anything. I mean, it's not like there's been some major fiasco or anything that has really caused an issue with the stock. Now, my price target short term, I know a lot of people like this, but it's kind of a crapshoot, right? It could go up a lot or it could go down a lot just without any USPS decision. Like we've said, there's really nothing that has occurred, nothing that Workhorse has really said about the USPS, and nothing that USPS has said that would make us think they are or they're not getting the contract. We've seen a couple different things, though, talking about how the USPS is electrifying their fleet from a couple different people, and that kind of gives us pause and makes us think that they are going to go with Workhorse since they're the only EV play. But if I'm going to put a number on it, I could see us dropping down to maybe $16, $17 a share, maybe. But I think that's low. I think that there are enough people that are buying back in that I really think we'd have to have some bad news. Not like Workhorse didn't get any part of the contract. Nothing that big, but I think we'd have to have something like some company comes out with a hit piece on them or talks about how poorly built their vehicles are or something like that that would cause us to drop that low. But I could see us maybe staying 18 or 19 before the decision. I think it will start to go up again right before the contract date. So right before the end of the year, I think a lot of people will be buying back into Workhorse, hoping to be able to take advantage if they get the USPS decision. And I could see us going up to as much as 30 or 35 even before the contract decision, because I think at the end of the year, a lot of people will feel very confident that Workhorse will get the contract. And unlike the last couple times where we thought, okay, maybe it can be pushed off further, they've said several times it'll be by the end of 2020. So I think there's still a possibility that they could push it back further. Who knows with the government? But I think about 90% of people think that's going to be decided this year. So I think it could jump up pretty drastically right ahead of that decision. Now, let me know your thoughts down below. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for subscribing if you haven't hit subscribe. We're close to 16,000 subscribers, which is just insane. My goal for the end of the year was 20,000, but I think we're going to hit that end of the month or maybe early November, which is just insane. So thank you guys so much for that. Thank you for checking out the link below if you guys want this. Like I said, it's so comfy. And checking out that link down to WeBull. I appreciate that too. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.